What's up, guys? We're out here today fishing Lake Istokpoga in the KAF trail event number 6. 2 more to go and then the championship. I'm currently in second place for Angler of the Year because we didn't count the first tournament. Otherwise, I'd be running away with it. So I'm chasing Chris Mitchell right now, and I know he's been pre-fishing the crap out of this lake. I think he said he caught a limit the other day, but mostly smaller fish, 15 inches or so. So I think today, if you get 80 inches, you're going to win the tourney. And I think it's doable. I had one fish on yesterday, about 16 inches long, and that's before the big storm front rolled in and I had to get off the lake, and it rained from like 12 until 5 o'clock, so there was no point in me even being out here after that. So I just called it a day, but I happened to get the skinny from a dude at the boat ramp who asked me if I caught anything. I said, I just caught one. He said, I got 3, but they were all at this place. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, the water's better over there. So I asked him, is it significantly better? Because this lake is really, it's weird because it's like a tannic stain, but it's also dirty. And he said, oh yeah, the water's significantly clearer over here. So I'm making a run over here. That's we'll have to go with that. I know one other place that has some fish in it, because last week during a boat tournament I was watching them pull them out of the pads, pitching and flipping, but they didn't see anything big. And everybody I talked to said like they didn't catch anything or they caught really small stuff, and that was boaters and kayakers alike. So we're gonna give this a shot. I've pulled it out of my butt the last 3 tournaments, actually several, all except for Fellsmere, and I dropped the ball on that one. So we're gonna see what happens. Big storm front again came through yesterday. Water temperatures are down a little bit, which is actually good. The lake was pretty warm. It's also shallow, and then might be a little bit breezier. It's already, you can already see some of the waves. If it doesn't get any worse than this, then we're good. I prefer it calm down a little bit. I want to work some top water, but I think that this should be okay. Other than that, it's probably going to be muggy and hot. So this breeze might actually be a blessing in disguise. But let's get over. It's quite a bit of a paddle for me to get over here, but let's get over to this spot and the guy mentioned, and let's see if this works out. 6:29, less than a minute to go. A lot of the wind has died down a good amount. I think the wind was just from the burn off of the fog that was on the water this morning. I'm sitting in probably I don't know, 2 foot of water. It's not a lot. It's a little deeper than that, right there. So just I don't know, 3 foot of water maybe, just under 3 foot. 6:30. Time to go. Because the water's been so stained, going with a slightly bigger profile worm than I normally would be using a Senko, but I'll go with this one. This is a Zoom speed worm, which is what I caught the bass on yesterday. First fish, and whoop, whoop. All right. Okay, little dude on the speed worm. if I hit something or I got bumped there. Oh! Shoot, that might have been a garp. Well, I don't know where the fish are. There's a little bit of flow coming out of this, so I'm gonna try this out. Well, apparently I forgot my power brick. That's back at the car, so no charging batteries out in the water today. Hopefully I get to find some fish soon. Off camera, but I just landed a big fish. Oh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, I needed that. All right. 21. Just short of it. 21 and a quarter. There he goes. Oh. All right. Got me pretty good with the spine though. So with that fish, I'm in second. The 13, I got 34 inches, I'm in second. We need a little bit more going on. But I'm pretty sure they're all hung up in the lily pads, or out in these edges of the lily pads, stuff like that. It's deeper water. There's nothing else they can really attach to. There's no grass in this lake. From my understanding, they've replanted some of it, but it's still going to be years before it actually, repopulates. All right, so I just caught another 13 and a quarter. Not the biggest, but again, off of this lily pad edge. I think this is going to be the. I want to say I kind of knew this is what I was going to have to do on this lake. Everybody that was catching them last week in the boat tournament was catching them in the lily pads or on the edge. One guy specifically mentioned everything I've caught is on the edge when he was talking to somebody else. He said a lot of the big ones are back up in it a little bit, but he's like, it's almost impossible to get them out, and it would be kind of hard for me to pull that 21 incher out of here. I got him. I got his head turned. He swam out in the open, which is why I was able to get him in so pretty much effortlessly. It wasn't that big of a deal. But if he got down in that stuff, there's just no way. All right, so Chris is ahead of me now. I think we both passed Jake. I caught 2 more little ones, so I'm at 4 fish. I need one more to round out the day. And I'm working my way back the exact same way I came because I ran into Chris down there, and I must have been good luck for him because he landed a 22 incher right there. I saw the water splash and I heard him cuss, but I thought it was because he lost it. And I'm like, at that moment in time, I was like, man, I feel for you, because I've had big fish get off the line before. But then I heard the fish flopping around the boat, so I think that was out of joy rather than anger. So he's got a 22 incher in there. I gotta find 5 fish. I just gotta get one more, and then I can begin culling. But I've got this entire shoreline here to myself. I know there's a bunch of anglers in a spot I was previous, but I don't see them posting fish or any that matter. So either they're splitting them amongst themselves or the fish aren't there. And this is where they're at. I just gotta methodically work this back, staying along this edge. This is where I caught them all. I know I missed a few coming back down this way, so hopefully I come back and I can get them. Oh, fish. Keep him down. That's not a monster, but it's still a fish. Like 12 and a quarter. Oh. Never mind, not a fit fish. That's frustrating. I should have just taken a picture. Just trying to get him to put his tail back down and man. Alright, let's try this again. This time I'm just gonna take the picture. Actually, he's bigger than the one I lost. He's skinnier, but 12 and a half. Thank you. Goodbye. God, they're feisty. Alright, the good news is that other fish that I missed that jumped out of the boat was inconsequential because that one was bigger. And I already have a 12 and a quarter, so that would have called. But they're definitely on these edges over here. Well, as it stands right now, I have the lead. It's not big, but I have 5 fish, and I think I'm the only guy with 5 fish right now. I got 2 12-inchers I need to get rid of, 2 13s, and then this a beast of a 5 or 6 pounder that came in at 21 and a quarter. So now it's just, working my way back. I got to figure out if I'm going to go over to where I was fishing last week and seeing people catch fish. If I'm going to head there, or if I'm going to try to go somewhere else brand new. Chris has left the bottom area down here. I don't feel good going down there and trying to fish it. Chris is a pretty competent fisherman, so I'm pretty sure if there's any fish left in there, they're going to be far and few in between. And I'm still catching them going along this edge here, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I've led the last 3 tournaments, and I've always lost it in the last hour or so, so I got to work on closing this one out. I've got to find some bigger fish. I know there's some spots over there that I haven't hit. I'm going to go over there and hit them now on the way back, and then kind of decide what I want to do from there. It's early enough in the day where if I have to make a drive or move, I can. Even if by the time I get back to where I originally launched from, I think I still have plenty of time to make a last-minute move. But let's see what happens here. Okay, so here's a recap of what happened. So I charged my brick, I brought my brick, I left it in the car, and so I wasn't able to charge the other battery. And when I made the move to the new location, I didn't have time to charge it, and it wouldn't have mattered. It needs about 2 hours to charge one battery. It's not super fast, and I just didn't have the time, and time would have run out before I had another battery charged up ready to go. So I ended up, it was frustrating because I have a 21-incher and then like 2 12s and 2 13s. So I was in first, I got knocked down to 4th, which is understandable because I had a bunch of really tiny fish, but the fish all seemed to be out on edges of the lily pads and stuff like that, and that's where I was catching, it's where other people were catching. There's no grass really out in the lake because they bombed it a couple years ago. So what ended up happening was I went to a new location, ran into Chris again, and right before I talked to Chris, I missed probably a 16-inch fish that jumped off. I didn't get the hook set the way I wanted it to. I really found that, with the Zoom worms being a lot thicker and harder than the stick baits that I'm using, like I really had to baseball swing that to get the hook to actually set properly. So I missed that fish. That was really frustrating. Chris passed me, and after we talked and went down ahead of me, he was going to go a little bit further, and we had discussed, how the day was going, and we were finding fish. It was just difficult. So my thought was I was going to go down the same way Chris was going to go, but he said that a couple other guys had launched and went down that way with him this morning. So I'm like, well, if he's going down that way and other people have been down that way, Chris is a pretty good fisherman. Those other guys aren't scrubs either, so I don't think I need to go down there. So what I did is I went back up the opposite way back towards where Chris was fishing before I ran into him and he caught that 22-inch monster. And I decided, he's the only person I saw up there fishing along with me, so I'm going to go back this way and I'm going to go ahead and fish all those spots because it's probably been long enough that the fish had time to sit. So keep in mind I missed that probably 15, 16 incher. I go up and on the edge of these lily pads I hook into one that's probably 17 to 18 inches. And it's jumping. I think I have it hooked really well. It gets behind my kayak, and I'm trying to turn his head to get him to come back around. And he jumps one more time right at the yak, and he disappears. And so at that point, I was really frustrated. It was really hot. I was really sweaty. I was just kind of really demoralized that I had never missed that many fish before. And part of it's because of using a new bait, and part of it's because I just wasn't setting the hook properly or hard enough. So, I put in my mind that I'm not going to give up, so I just kept going, and finally I got to this edge of where the reeds kind of came out to a peak, and I threw back in there, and I'm winding, I'm bringing the worm back in, and I'm probably 10 feet away from bringing the worm up into the boat, and I raise the worm up, and I see this big fish come up and hit the worm, and I really couldn't tell what it was. All I could see is like the light brown shadow in the dark water hit it. So I figured if it's a gar, if I set the hook, it's gonna let go. If it's a bass, I'm gonna get him. So I set the hook really hard, and then it started shaking its head, and I ended up landing this fish. Came out to 21 inches. That jumped me back from fourth up into third, right behind Chris, and that's what saved my day. And I'm so thankful that I was able to catch that fish. So it gave me the most lopsided bag I've ever had in a tournament, with 2 21 and a quarter fish, and then my last three, keep in mind, are 13 and a half, 13 and 12 and a half. If I would have landed those other 2 fish, I lost by 6 inches. If I would have landed those other 2 fish, I probably could have won that tournament easy, but that's how it goes. So congrats to James for finishing first. Congrats to Chris, who almost caught James. And I'll take third. Third is, I've been very consistent in these tournament series. The last 3 tournaments, especially with a second and 2/3, I'm happy with that. And we've got 2 more to go, and we'll see what happens after that. But if you've seen this, it was a great tournament. There were a lot of nice fish caught, and thanks KAF for putting it on. And I'm excited for the next one.